Facebook friends, you made it to Friday.
Thank goodness.
Yay for that. Okay, I'm Tanya Rivera. You got Tracy McCain, and then, of course, Christian Morgan. And we're just kind of, gonna just talk you right into Friday.
Oh my goodness. So glad. So glad it's Friday. I've been waiting on this since Monday, as a matter of fact. So the weather kind of has made it a long stretch of days, though. I mean, it's not often that you can just wake up and know that it's going to be hot again. It just...
And again.
That's the trend.
And again.
Say, forecasting's been easy this week, guys. It's been plenty hot. Plenty humid, and that's not really changing. That weather pattern is going to stick with us for several more days. Of course, live look at the Triad right now. Sun coming up, not a cloud in the sky. A little bit of a breeze blowing on our flags there on our Burlington camera. Of course, out the door, it's already warm. It's already muggy. Low in mid-70s, 72 in Greensboro, 74 Winston-Salem. 73 down in Asheboro, 71 in Lexington as well. Now, of course, this is where that humidity really starts to play a big factor. As we go into the afternoon, those feels like temperatures warming up into the mid and upper 90s, even close to 100 in some locations this afternoon. So my advice to you, if you have anything to do outside, get it done really before lunchtime, before 11 o'clock, honestly, if you can. High pressure, that Bermuda high pressure, still our big player in the weather game. And actually it strengthens up a bit over the course of the weekend. It strengthens at the surface and in the upper levels of the atmosphere. So yes, it continues to act as a heat and humidity pump for us, but it also actually helps to keep our rain chances low or really non-existent over the weekend. So just hot and dry. You can plan on that for today and for the upcoming weekend as well. Of course, all of our eyes are going to be down in the tropics on what is now Tropical Storm Ida, about 50 miles to the northwest of Grand Cayman with 45-mile-per-hour winds. A much more healthy-looking storm than it was last night at this time, and it doesn't have a lot of ground to cover, but notice it's going to be moving into the Gulf of Mexico. Bathwater, crazy humid. Also low wind shear, weak winds. So that all is a recipe for further development for Ida, likely becoming a hurricane tomorrow, and then it will continue to strengthen and reaching Category 2, possibly even Category 3 status is not out of the question by the time it comes ashore, likely along the coast of Louisiana. That would be late Sunday night and early Monday morning. So these folks are going to be dealing with hurricane force winds, also go storm surge, heavy rains, flooding issues, all going to be on the table for our folks in the Gulf Coast, mainly Louisiana, Mississippi, but also Alabama is still in that cone as well. Now watch what happens after it comes inland. It's going to stay away from North Carolina, but its remnant low by the middle of next week could bring some rainfall to the Piedmont. Not a guarantee, but it's something we'll watch. And these are crazy rain totals down in the Gulf, especially in New Orleans and those areas, 10 to 15, even possibly more than that inches of rain with this system. And notice the rain really kind of dies out as that system mainly tracks to our west and kind of moves up through Tennessee and on up into Kentucky as well. But we could see some rain. We could see some storms middle of the week. Not a guarantee. It's something we'll be watching for you, though. Get ready to sweat it out over the weekend. It's a scorcher, low and mid 90s for Saturday and Sunday. Just do all you can to stay cool and stay hydrated if you're going to be outside. That is a big, big deal. It is going to be super hot. 7-day forecast, there's not a lot of change. 7 more days in the 90s. Low chances for showers and storms creep back in by early next week. And of course, not a guarantee, but we'll keep eyes on what happens Wednesday and Thursday. Possibly some rain from Ida. And that's why I've lowered our temperatures a little bit into the mid and upper 80s. So we'll keep watch on that.
All right, let's get into our first social conversation. Here we go. Here's another look at those 7-day temps. We're starting off toasty, but a cool down, yeah, not really on the way. Are you holding on to summer and the heat, or are you ready for fall? Well, one viewer texted in and said, I can tolerate the heat, but what I really dread is the power bill. Yeah, I get that. Another said the heat is insane, but not exactly ready for fall because that means snow and ice storms are right around the corner, just ready for some normal summer weather. The one that's on the screen right now, it says the best thing this week was seeing the students on campus, but that is for our other social conversation, I believe, right? Which is about what was the highlights of the summer. Mm-hmm. So we have two trending topics. One is the heat.
That's right.
The other one is what was your highlight of your week?
And unfortunately, in Guilford County Schools, the two kind of merged.
They did.
Right? Because of the excessive heat and temperatures. A lot of schools' air conditioning is not working, so they had to go home early for the day. At least that happened in 1 or 2 schools yesterday. So. Not the mix you want,
no.
But no relief in sight. And I want cooler temperatures now.
Me too.
All right, and so fall actually starts in a month.
A little less than a month now.
A little less than a month now.
If we're going to be technical about it, a little
technical.
less.
Well, he's got to be technical, right? So when is this, autumnal?
Autumnal equinox?
The
Is that?
autumnal
Is it?
equinox. You
Okay,
got it.
is.
That's it. Yeah.
Together we made it.
We got it.
It's officially September 22nd.
Wait, I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said it's officially September 22nd.
September 22nd. Perfect. All right, I'm excited about September 22nd. I can't believe next week is September.
Right?
Right,
And,
yes,
and as soon as we get to the 22nd, we're going to flip the switch, right? It's just going to be cold.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and the pumpkin spice flows. All right, so this is our comments for the cool days or the heat. I can tolerate the heat, but what I really dread is that power bill. And also, this heat is insane, but not exactly ready for fall because that means snow and ice storms right around the corner. Just ready for some normal summer weather for a little while. That's what I'm saying. And finally, a direct call out from Steve to Christian. He wrote, at C. Morgan weather, bring the cool down,
Woo!
please.
I've been called out.
You've been called out.
I would call it a challenge. You've been challenged.
Not that you could do anything about it.
My hands are tied in
But
this
you know,
situation, guys.
You know, Christian, you could say, hey, I'm bringing the cooler weather. Let's take a look at Alaska. And here's the cooler weather. And if you'd like to go there, that's where you go.
You know, if we set up a bunch of really heavy-duty fans in Alaska and turn them all on, then
All at
maybe
one
we
time.
can blow all of that cold air here, right?
Right.
Because it
Maybe
works
so.
that way.
So basically, you're saying it's not happening anytime soon.
That's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's kinda what you're
but
saying.
It goes like this. You know, obviously we have the pumpkin spice and we have all the fall flavors that have returned. Okay, you do you. But the thing about it is, even though we're moving into September, we know that September can be hot. But what happens is, we've already seen it happen, of course, as we go throughout the month of August. Doesn't feel like it, but our average high temperature is actually coming down now. Gradually, but it is coming down. So as we head into September, it gets a little easier for us to get these little spells of cooler air. So we won't say cold, but it's easier to get some more refreshing, some drier, less humid air, some slightly cooler air. It's not prolonged, it doesn't get here and stick, but we see more opportunities for that as we go throughout the month of September and on into October. So I'm not gonna say it's gonna turn off cold or it's gonna be cool, but there will be more opportunities. It's easier to come by.
Yeah, we got a couple of comments. Someone says, my cool temperature is in the house. And then Bobby said, I've been working outside for the last 10 days. Thank God I'm working inside today. Yeah, today, tomorrow, Sunday, you definitely want to be working inside.
Yeah, a lot of people can't wait for the fall. Like I had a few comments.
Me
I think
included.
it was Nadine who said that she slept in her pumpkin pajamas
Ah.
last night,
That's
ready
funny.
for fall. Yep, she did. She said, I wore my Halloween pajamas last night. Bring on the fall. Bobby said he's ready for fall too. Carol said, I can't wait until the fall, my favorite season. So I wonder if, you know, birthdays have something to do with it, because a lot of people, you know,
are
talking
saying that they've
about
got birthdays coming up. Someone just said they paid a power bill of $308.
Oh my
gosh,
gosh.
yeah.
I mean, when your, you know, air conditioning is not kicking off whatsoever, it is going to.
Yeah, when it's working harder than it needs to.
Right.
That's why that maintenance is so important. It's like, you know, every year it's like a couple $100, but
is,
it's
right.
better than,
Yep.
you know, paying a couple $1,000s for a new unit.
Yep, and they
which I
always
learned
say
recently.
change those air filters. And I know people are like, oh, I just always forget and I don't
Yeah.
really care and whatever else. Well, it actually does make a difference because it makes your unit work harder if you've got a dirty air filter.
Right.
So go spend the $30, get the really good air filters, and give yourself, you know, a break on the bill.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know, I heard, you know, you're supposed to change your air filters when you change the batteries in your fire
Alarm?
Yes. However, I think that it would be more than that.
Well, it all depends on what grade of air filter you're getting.
Okay.
Right? So if you're getting a really good air filter, I think they usually say every 6 months, right? You're
Okay.
supposed to check your smoke detector in October, but then they tell you to do it when you change the clocks again too. So
Okay.
that is about every 6 months or so. If you get the cheapy air filters,
Okay,
you
that-
probably should change them every 2 to 3 months.
That's what we do.
So, well, I mean, you know.
Right, because our air filters cost like, you know, $10.
Right.
And we
Tracy,
get like,
Tracy
yes.
is thanking Tanya in advance for
Basically,
saving her
yeah.
on the bill.
Well, I mean, we do change them every 2 months, maybe sometimes every month and a half. But not realizing that there was better quality out there. I've just, you know.
It all depends. If you're already in that, you know, mode of
Oh, yeah,
changing
we're
it
definitely in
every,
that
you know, month or so, then you just keep it that way.
Amazon ships them to my house every month.
Okay,
now,
well
so-
then it reminds you and then you're good.
Yeah, that automatic subscription,
Yep.
lifesaver.
It's the folks that are like, I don't remember the last time I changed my air filter.
Right.
That's the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, that was a long conversation about
Air filters.
Air
Hey,
fil-
but you know what? It's going to save you money.
About
Yes.
Tracy's HVAC system.
and now I feel like I can go throughout the weekend, you know? and feel good. CJ Kathy said, I change my air filters and use the good ones. So, you know, I guess you're right. Quality does matter. I'm going to kind of, you know, still play it the same way, but eventually I'll upgrade and get on the good track. Get on the good track.
Yeah, nobody's giving you any kind of shade because everybody at home is like, yeah, do the same thing. And if they don't do it on the air filters, they skimp on something else, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And they forget to do stuff, whether that be the whole smoke detector thing. And you know, just because you tap the thing at the top and it makes a beeping noise doesn't mean it's actually working.
Right.
So
can I just say, before we go to headlines, how awesome it is to have like the Queen of Two Wants to Know here in the studio to answer
give you all
these
the consumer knowledge.
Seriously.
That you, okay. I feel like I'm nagging you, but
No,
I'm
this
nagging
is
you in a
great
nice way.
information.
In a really nice way.
Yes. Christian, what were you going to say?
I just love it because she goes beyond the surface of you not changing your air filters to going into depth why you should and why it makes a difference.
Yes.
I'm happy to be of service, friends.
I feel like we just had a segment here.
We did.
It's so awesome.
Free of charge.
Well, it has been great having you here
I've
on the Good
enjoyed
Morning
it.
Show. So, I mean, we do have other conversations going. I just wanted to make sure you knew that.
It's always nice to hear, isn't it?
It is.
It is.
It is. All right, let's get to some of your headlines before we have our other conversation in just a few minutes. Don't forget your mask if you're spending any time in Guilford County, especially inside. The county's indoor mask mandate is now in effect and it is being enforced. Masks have been required for about 2 weeks now, but final approval came down last night. So there's a news conference this morning explaining the mandate and some more of the fines that you'll face at 9 o'clock. Make sure you stay with WFMY News 2 at noon to find out what comes out of that meeting. Let's go over what we know so far about the mandate. County officials say they're giving everyone a warning first before issuing any fines to people or businesses who do not comply with this indoor mask mandate. The goal is to educate everyone on mask wearing, but after the first warning, there will be fines. The first one for people is $50. Businesses not requiring masks will be fined $300 for the first violation. It's $500 for a second and $1,500 for the third violation. County officials hope to lift the mandate when the county's vaccination rate reaches 70% or if the county's percent positive is 5% or below for 3 consecutive weeks. Guilford County schools face some challenges during the first week of school. Superintendent Dr. Sharon Contreras says right now there are 242 Guilford County school students in quarantine, but she says only 5 of those cases happened due to close contacts at school. More than 40 schools have reported air conditioning problems, most of them due to aging school buildings. She says that totals to about 540 work orders, which is an unusually high number for the district. Traffic at school car rider lanes also a hassle this week. Dr. Contreras says more parents choosing to take their students to school rather than have them hop on the bus due to COVID-19. She says this year there are 20,000 more cars in school car rider lanes than in years past.
All right, looking ahead, the Randolph County School Board will be meeting to talk about their pandemic protocols, and they're meeting on Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m., Randolph County College. Currently, masks are optional in the district. We'll let you know what happens at Sunday's meeting. Recently, the district sent out a technology survey to parents asking about access to high-speed internet. And some parents, when they got that, started questioning whether the district was planning to go remote. Nearly 300 students and staff have been quarantined since the school year started just last week. Well, as the first week of school is wrapping up, we're already starting to see more COVID cases and all of the numbers rising in districts across the Triad. One Triad College is stepping up to help protect people in our schools and our community as a whole. All right, Denise McMillan has details on Winston-Salem State University's wellness event, which is planned for later this afternoon.
This huge healthcare RV has been out of commission for some time, but Winston-Salem State University is taking the parking brake off and getting back on the road to offer a variety of services at today's event. It'll be parked outside of the city's community care center, providing screenings and sports physicals for students. Teachers and students will get masks, hand sanitizer, and gloves to stay protected while in school. Mental health assessments and treatment plans for a variety of conditions like anxiety and depression are also provided. Services are geared toward people living in underserved communities, but everyone is welcome.
You know, they'll be able to provide behavioral health analysis or behavioral health services to the community, which is definitely needed in our community. And I think, you know, along with that, they'll be able to offer a clinical lab, panel testing for us, for the community as well. Something that we've done before, but something that's combined with the mental health piece. So more or less a holistic approach.
It's also an opportunity to get familiar with services available through the Community Care Center and Winston-Salem State School of Health Sciences program. And today's wellness event will be from 3 to 7 p.m. today, and it'll be at the Community Care Center off of New Walkertown Road here in Winston-Salem.
All right, let's jump into our next conversation this morning. Of course, it's been all about back to school week here on the Good Morning Show.
Yeah, and today we want to know what the highlight of your week was. Maybe it was your kids getting to reconnect with their friends and the teachers. Maybe it was you getting back into a routine.
Yes.
And getting the kids out of the house. Whatever it is, maybe it's a special first week of school tradition that you do.
Yeah, so here are some of the comments that we've been getting in, and especially via text in our Facebook page. Melanie said, the best thing this week was seeing the students on campus. Someone else wrote in and said, my back to school week was my daughter enjoying her first week in high school. Go Whirlies. Grimsley.
Yeah, Grimsley.
Right.
So yeah, the back to school week, I know there were a lot of kinks, and especially if your child did not have air conditioning.
Oof.
Yeah, it was brutal because it is hot outside and inside school buildings, and they can't use fans because of COVID concerns. So if that was you, I feel for you. My personal family, I mean, we had a lot of adjusting to do, but so far it's been pretty smooth. We had to kind of walk back on some of my son's after school activities this week just to kind of make sure he had a feel for getting up in the morning and going to school and not really putting too much on him. And so next week we'll start adding those back on and seeing if he can deal with it. I mean, he's only 5.
Right.
The
kid can only handle so much.
Exactly.
And we can all only handle so much.
Yes,
right.
exactly. So it was a great week.
I love what you said about him yesterday
Yeah.
and the chocolate milk. It was the highlight of yesterday for
Yes.
me. I laughed so hard.
Yeah, he had chocolate milk for the first time on Tuesday, and then he had strawberry milk for the first time on Wednesday. So
We are branching out this week.
yeah, and so now, you know, I have whole milk in the fridge, and I'm just waiting
For him
He's
to
like, "Mom,
say,
this is
hey,
boring."
where's the chocolate milk?
because that's the only option that we've given him.
Okay, did anybody else have the Nesquik stuff, the chocolate
Oh,
or the
yeah.
strawberry that you mixed in with your milk?
Oh, I loved
Okay.
it.
So good.
Yeah,
All right.
I loved it.
Not good for you,
No, not at
but
all.
good. Yes.
Exactly. So Christian, you were outside a lot this week, outside of schools in Forsyth County, and you kind of caught some of that excitement of going back to school.
I did. You know, it was so cool to see students and their excitement. And of course, you know, students, teachers, parents, everybody was wearing masks, but you could just tell, you could see the smiles, you could see how excited they were getting out of the car. And I mean, we met one principal over at East Forsyth Middle School this week, and I mean, he just a ball of energy, you know, throwing up high fives and, you know, welcoming all the kids there, making sure they were good to go, making sure they knew their schedule and where they needed to go in the school building. I mean, it was just exciting to see that excitement come back because it's been a while. And, you know, you guys mentioned parents. There were some parents that were really excited, probably for a multitude of different reasons. But it was really great to see all that excitement and to see that kind of shining light in kids' faces again.
Yeah.
We have a parent who's like, the highlight of the week is today, knowing that I won't be in that car rider line for 2 whole days.
They were long. Listen, now I can tell you firsthand. I was sitting out there watching it, and at one point, I mean, our photographer, I lost him because he went down the road to get pictures of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was as far as the eye could see.
Right. And even if you are not dropping off or picking up a student, you are still impacted if you were trying to drive past a school because the lines were out on the street and say they were trying to turn, but you wanted to go straight and it was a one-way road, you were sitting in that traffic, whether you liked it or not. So I know the deputies have been, and Greensboro Police have been monitoring situations around schools especially, but gosh, I mean, I was in line for my son for an average of 45 minutes a day.
Ooh.
Wow. And they say that that's going to be more of the common thing than not this year, because so many people are choosing to drive their kids to school instead of the kids taking the school bus. I think in Guilford County Schools, they said it was an extra 20,000 cars over the entire district at drop-off and pickup lines because the bus ridership was cut in half.
Wow.
So
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
I remember when I was in school, it always seemed to me like over the years, it seemed to me like the bus riders, the numbers kind of dwindled and there were more car riders throughout my school career. But I don't know. I don't know if that's continued to change. And obviously COVID has had an impact on that. But it just seemed like from the time I was in elementary school all the way up until I was able to drive, it seemed like the amount of folks that rode the bus started to get smaller. The folks that rode cars or had their parents or somebody drive them to school, seems like those numbers got bigger.
Yeah, and my parents drove me to school only because of the time in which the bus would come. It was so early in the morning and they didn't want me to sit or wait at the bus stop in the dark by myself and then get to school early for no reason. So that's why they brought me to school, and then also they brought me home just to make sure I actually got in the door.
I was a walker for elementary school and then bus for middle and some part of high school.
I probably could have walked. I could have walked to elementary school, middle school, and high school, but I never did. My mom always took me and dropped me off, and then I could drive, and I thought that was the beginning.
That was it.
That
Right.
was it.
That was it.
Yeah, your parents probably trusted you because it was right down the street. They're like, oh yeah, you can drive to high school.
You can drive a mile. That's fine.
Go a mile, turn right.
Come straight home.
Go straight home. They're like, oh, it's going to take me 2 hours to get home today.
Where'd you go?
Probably not.
Nowhere.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's awesome. So Nadine said, my kids ride the bus, not many kids on there. So that could be a good option, if that was your main concern. Joanne says she stays away from schools at dismissal time, which is a
Smart.
really good plan,
Yep.
especially now.
You don't have to be there.
And then Jessica Richards says, 2 of my kids are back in school, so it's just me and the baby at home. I'm getting so much done. It's amazing what you can get done, right? Without the distractions of mommy.
Right.
I think Jessica Richards and I have, our babies are the same age around
Cool.
that. Yeah.
So you'll be in the same kind of stage of life.
Yes. I don't know. Jessica, you can confirm if you want to type in how old your youngest is. My Julian is 6 months, and I thought your youngest was around that age too. So while you're doing that, let's take a look at the forecast.
All right, it's hot. I can tell you that. Not a lot changes. Several days at 90s. I'm getting 90s. You're getting 90s. We're all getting 90s. But rain chances pretty much non-existent today and over the course of the weekend. It's just going to be hot, guys. Low mid 90s for Saturday and Sunday. I kind of wanted to go 94 on Sunday, but I can't bring myself to do that. So I'm going to keep it at 93 for your Sunday. Of course, there will be some locations that make it up into the mid 90s, and you factor in all that humidity, feeling like the upper 90s and close to 100. And even though the rain chances are going to be low, still take caution. Be careful if you're going to be outside. Drink lots of water. Wear the sunscreen. Reapply that. I can't emphasize that enough because you will get burned this weekend. It's going to be hot. Low rain chances start to creep back in by early next week. And then our temperatures come down just a little bit into the mid and upper 80s. I know that sounds crazy to say our temperatures are coming down, but I actually think we'll have an increased chance for showers and thunderstorms by the middle of the week, and therefore it will be a little bit cooler. Of course, we're all watching what happens down in the tropics and in the Gulf of Mexico with what will soon be Hurricane Ida. It's possible some leftover rain and some storms come our way from that by Wednesday and Thursday. That's not a guarantee. The thing is still out near Grand Cayman right now, so it still has a ways to go before it ever makes it into the Gulf of Mexico and then eventually makes it onto land in the United States. But we'll be watching that. We'll be tracking it for you. In the meantime, just stay cool. Find any way you can to stay cool this weekend.
And the way you stay cool is you don't go outside.
Stay inside.
Right. Always a good plan.
Change your air filters.
That's right. Be cooler when you change your air filters.
That's right.
Well, my favorite part of the week was having Tanya Rivera here.
I had a great time. Thank you, friends, for having me this week.
Yes, please come back. It's just a vibe.
You're a ball of energy,
It's a
Tanya.
vibe. See how cool we are? Do you know what vibe means?
So cool.
Are we vibing?
We're vibing. Yes. So Tanya, I know we're going to miss you next week.
Yes,
but
I'll be back on the evening shift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you'll come back.
Call me back sometime.
For sure.
Yeah, I'll be here.
All right, great. The best of GMS is dedicated to Tanya because she literally made the show this week. She's so hilarious. Take a look at the best of the Good Morning Show and have a great weekend.
See ya.
Are you excited about Thursdays?
I'm excited about Friday Eve.
Yes. We like to call it Friday's baby sister.
Either way, I think it's all good. Whatever you want to call it, it is Thursday. We're glad to be here.
They have a great relationship. Bring on the syrup and the butter. It is National Waffle Day.
And maybe the chicken too.
Yeah. Or fruits,
Any
chocolate
of it.
chips,
Ice cream,
blueberries.
breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert.
Stop, I'm getting hungry.
Well, you know what that sound means.
And you may know what this sign means. Right here. Where is it? It is Wednesday, hump day.
How'd we get here?
By the grace of God.
And you got to be able to get your homework done, still have some social time, get some of the wiggles out before you go to, go home. Isn't that right, Ed?
Oh, absolutely. And as much as I eat, I need to wiggle as much as I can.
So my son told me about this. And he's like, yeah, my best friend, he got in trouble the other day. And I'm like, oh no. He's like, yeah, he's on yellow. And I was like, oh no, what happened? He's like, well, that just means that he's not eligible for a prize at the end of the week. So he said, at the end of the week, I'm still gonna be on green, so I'm gonna share my prize with him. I was like, oh, that's so nice. And in my head, I was like, stay away from that kid. He's already on yellow. He's dragging you the wrong way. Like, you're going places, kid.